Oh, there you are, YouTube. Hey, so today we're going to go through my entire Criterion collection, and I have them in the order of spine that they have, the spine number, but the first one that I got to show off is from their Laserdisc days, and that is Ghostbusters. I have this one framed. I don't have a Laserdisc player, so I haven't actually watched this one. Obviously, I've seen Ghostbusters, but not this piece of physical media yet, but that is the first one in the collection, and I've done a video taking a look at that, a deeper dive into it. Feel free to look for that if you would like. So, starting with spine number 2, we have Seven Samurai. So I haven't opened this one yet, and actually I've had this one for many years, but still haven't dug into it yet. But that's something I'd like to try and do the rest of this year and next year, is watch all of these films that I haven't opened yet, because I do have quite a few of them, or haven't, just watched yet as well. Okay, so, and that's spine number 2. Next, we have spine number 12. This is Spinal Tap. This piece of physical media has seen better days. It's pretty rough. It's a little wrinkled. It's just not looking that good, but still glad to have This is Spinal Tap on Criterion, the DVD version. Next, spine number 17 is Solo, or The 120 Days of Sodom. Now, I actually haven't seen this one. I picked this up at a local video rental store that was going out of business, so that's why it has all these cool adults only 18 plus stickers on it. And that's, honestly, I don't really have plans on watching this movie ever, but I really loved the stickers, and basically an artifact from the days of rental stores, mom and pop rental stores, independent rental stores. So that's why I picked this one up. Plus Criterion, add it to the collection, but I haven't watched it. And again, that was spine number 12. Number 23, we have RoboCop. This is, I mean, this movie goes deeper, but this reminds me of the time when they did add more populist films, just like Ghostbusters. Those more popular blockbuster-related films. I do like that sort of, what would you call that, like brushed metal look that it has. This would be cool if they were to re-release this in 4K. Spine number 26, The Long Good Friday. Now, I've watched this one time, but it's been so long ago, I don't really remember what it's about at all. This was actually a part of my stepfather's collection, and when he passed away, I inherited it. I have quite a few of his movies, but yeah, this is one of his. Next, we got spine 29, and that is Picnic at Hanging Rock. This was also one of my stepfather's films that I inherited after he passed away. I have watched this, but it was a long time ago, so I still, same with the previous film, I don't have much memory of it. Moving on to number 40, Armageddon. I remember this was one of my earlier Criterion purchases. I can't remember what my first one was. It might have been RoboCop, it might have been Armageddon. I can't remember, but I am pretty sure I picked it up from a pawn shop, both of those, and a couple others that you're going to see. But yeah, one of my earlier purchases. And again, this is spine 40. This has the director's cut on it, which I don't prefer. I prefer the theatrical, so I really don't watch this one at all anymore. I just watch the studio release. Next, we got number 41. This is one that I just purchased recently. After King Charles III was crowned, I started buying movies about the British monarchy. I'm gonna do a big haul of those eventually. But yeah, Henry V. I haven't seen this one. This is Laurence Olivier's version, and haven't watched it yet, but I think the cover art is terrible. When I think of Criterion, I think of good cover art, and this does not have good cover art. And that was 41. Moving on to 48, Black Orpheus. Am I saying that right? haven't watched this one. I picked it up because of the title, and we'll hopefully get around to it soon. Jumping ahead to 70, which is The Last Temptation of Christ. So some of these you'll see stickers on, you already have with some of them, but that's because I bought them secondhand at a place called Disc Replay. Sometimes when they have them, you know, they get them pretty cheap, especially the DVDs. You know, this is only $7.99, and I'll go ahead and pick them up. But yeah, we got a Scorsese film here. I kind of wish the cover was illustrated in some way, but if you're going to have an image of from the movie, you know, this is a pretty good one. So we were just in the 70s, now we're moving to the 80s. This is 82. This is Laurence Olivier's Hamlet. This is a Best Picture winner, and that is why I bought it. I also own every movie that has won the Oscar for Best Picture, and if they have something on Criterion, I usually try and pick it up. So unless, you know, I already have it. So this one I picked up because it was on Criterion. Well, because it was a Best Picture winner, but because it was on Criterion, I got that version. Beautiful sets in this movie. So moving up to the 90s, this is 91, and we have The Blob. I got it on DVD. I know this has, you know, been upgraded to Blu-ray and everything, but still very glad to have this. You know, I had the Blob remake, and I thought, you know, I should have the original Blob, so that's why I picked this one up. 93. Am I saying this right? Black Narcissus? Probably saying it wrong. This one I watched, and I just thought it was beautiful to look at. I really like the textures within the movie. It's been a while since I've watched it. Was this one? This one was in my stepdad's collection as well. Yeah, and that's how I picked this one up. Next, we got 97. And that is Do the Right Thing. Cool thing about this one is I had the chance to meet Spike Lee and got him to sign it for me. So this one has been in Spike Lee's hand, or at least the little paper. Anyway, that's all I brought with me. I put it on a clipboard, and then that way he could sign it. So he's actually signed the slip inside here, the outer case, rather than, you know, the case. But yeah, I know this has been updated and everything. This is just the DVD, but I like that it does have Spike Lee on it and that he signed it. So again, that was 97. And probably should have won Best Picture, but here we do have a Best Picture winner. It's Alfred Hitchcock's only film to win Best Picture. I have it on DVD. This is Spine number 135, and this is Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. Great movie. I don't think it's, you know, one of his most known. I think it is growing in popularity, though. The house in this film is very much a character, similar to the way Psycho is, where you have the houses feels like another character within the movie, and that's kind of how Rebecca is, which is really cool. Next, we have spine number, let's get the wrap out of here, 151, and that is Traffic. I don't know why I haven't opened this, because I've seen Traffic, and I thought I watched this one, but I must have watched it on like streaming or something, or maybe I have another copy of it. Maybe my wife does. I can't remember how I watched this. But I really like the color, the use of color in this. It's very sort of over the top, but we have multiple stories in this movie, and each one of them has a very specific color to them. Makes it easier to separate them as you're watching the movie. Great film. Number 164, we have Solaris. So I first purchased the American version years ago, and then I was like, you know what, let's get the original. What better way to get the original than on Criterion? So that's why I have this in my collection. But first introduced to Solaris through the American version with Viola Davis and George Clooney. Moving on to the 200s, I got 277, which is My Own Private Idaho. This one also came from that mom and pop store, that local video store that went out of business. I tried to pick up as many Criterions from them as I can. I can't remember how many I did. Actually, it wasn't that many, because I don't know. They were cleaned out pretty quick, and I think a lot of people had that idea to pick up their Criterions and things with cool artifacts on it, like this sticker here, you know, stuff like that. This is really like shelf worn, which is really cool. You know, you don't always want that, but I feel like, I mean, some of this is part of the art, but you know, I think that looks cool with artifacts from an actual rental store. And this movie's kind of devastating. It's very, I think it's very sad to watch. Kind of like, yeah, makes your day kind of gloomy at the end. Number 377. When a Woman Ascends the Stairs. Now, I haven't watched this one yet. Picked it up from a place called Disc Replay when they were having some sort of deal, buy 4, get 1 free or something like that. That's how I obtained this one. Moving on to the 400s, number 404, Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Honestly, the fact that this is sci-fi and the art on the cover is what drew me to this. I don't know if the movie is any good. I think I've even heard it's not that great, but I just like this as a work of art. Like this, I would print up big, and you know, I'd have this as a poster hanging up in my house. I really like that. You know, it's just I think it looks cool. Number 422, we're going back to Best Picture winners, and that is The Last Emperor. Very long movie, and I think maybe there are 3 different versions? No, 2. Okay, so we have the theatrical version, which is 165 minutes, and then we also have the television version, with its 218 minutes. I think I've watched both versions. When I first bought this, I watched the extended television version, and then my wife, I took her to, well, I didn't take her, but we watched, I wanted to show her all of the Best Picture winners, so I started at the very beginning and watched them in chronological order, and I believe we just watched the theatrical for that one, because I wanted her to have the theatrical experience for these films, the actual movies that won. Excuse me. So yeah, this is a very thick one. Look at that. That's awesome. Has all sorts of goodies inside. In terms of, well, yeah, book 2. It's a good one. All right. So what was that? 422. Next we are moving on to 476. This is my wife's, but you know, we consolidated our collections mostly. Because I probably wouldn't have bought this one. I don't really like this movie very much. This is my least favorite David Fincher film. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I don't know, I don't have too much to say on it, other than I don't care for it too much. And also, this art is weak. That is weak for Criterion Collection, especially when this movie is so fantastical. Why would they do that? So now I don't, not only do I not care for the movie, but I also don't care for that cover. All right, moving on to the 500s. We got 516, which is Stagecoach. I really like this movie. It's one of those like films where you have a group of people contained in a single location, and that single location is a stagecoach. There are moments where they are in other areas together, but the fact that it's within a stagecoach is pretty cool. John Ford, Ringo, John Wayne, really... you see why he's a star with this one. This is sort of like a star maker, and you understand why John Wayne is sort of the icon that he is. Moving on to 537. That is The Magician. I picked this one up semi-recently. It did have a sticker on it, but I tried to remove it, or did remove it. And this one was a second-hand shop that I got this at, but I have not watched it yet. But I do like that cover art, that skull that's sort of happening in there, and then the face peeking through the skull that's, you know, on the curtains there. I like that. Moving on to 538. Paths of Glory. I honestly can't remember if I watched this or not. I have another Kubrick set behind me, and I can't remember if this one's on it. I don't think it's on it. So most likely I've not watched this one. If I did, it was like 15 years ago. But yeah, glad to have this one in the collection as well. But it is just DVD. 541 is Night of the Hunter. Regrettably, I still have not watched this. This is one I need to get to very quickly. I feel like embarrassed that I haven't seen this yet because I know it is iconic. I know quite a bit about it. I've seen lots of clips from it because it is so brought up in the conversation when talking about cinema. So it's like a film I'm very much aware of but haven't actually sat down and watched yet. And that again is Spine 541. Next we have Easy Rider, which is 545, and this I picked up at that rental store that was going out of business. So you can see it has some cool stickers on it, and I believe, I could be wrong because I know they do sell this separately, but they also sell it in a like a box set. And I think this might have been the one that was from a box set and then like broken up and sold into pieces. I'm pretty sure because it just kind of looks, you know, it's very flimsy, and maybe Criterion did that for this, but I'm pretty sure this one is pieced out from that box set. And that was, again, 545. Next we have 562, which is Blowout. This was one that I purchased during the most recent Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble last month, and I have it on 4K here. Was this my first? This might have been my first 4K Criterion purchase, I think. I think I grabbed a couple. Actually, no, I don't think this was my first 4K purchase. I think I did this one later. But purchasing 4K Criterion just started for me last month. Before I just had, you know, whatever I could find cheap. So DVDs and Blu-rays, mostly DVDs. But yeah, glad to start having 4Ks in the collection. And again, that was 562. Now we're moving on to 594, and that is Godzilla here. I have a lot of versions of Godzilla, so this is, that's why this one's not opened. I just haven't watched this one because I have, I think I have 2 other DVDs of Godzilla, just, you know, in my collection. It's like that, and I think Night of the Living Dead, maybe I have just a few versions of cheap stuff that I've picked up over the years. But yeah, I like that cover art. That's really cool. Okay. So that was 594. Now we move to 654. Look at that, 100. Move up 100. Oh wait, was that right? No, 94. Okay, where am I at? 594, now we are at 654. Never mind about that math. That was way wrong. Is Repo Man. I really love this box art here with the matte cardboard that we have, and then the neon green on the black is really nice. I like that. You know, we have so many like glossy looking or semi-gloss looking pieces of physical media, but when they do the matte sort of cardstock, I really like that. Good movie too. Now 658, which is Medium Cool. Still have not watched this one yet. I remember when I picked this up, I was just picking them up pretty quick. I thought this was like an astronaut's helmet. way off. So yeah, I have no clue what this is about, but I picked it up when I was trying to get like that 6th movie free or something, but didn't know anything about it when I picked it up. Next we have 691, which is Thief. I was glad to add this to the collection. You know, a lot of people think this is James Caan's best film, so I figured it was worth picking up. Next, we are now into the 70s, and we are moving to 793. And this is did I say 70s? 700s. Have I been doing that this whole time? The 700s. Sorry. And that is actually the only movie I have in the 700s is The American Friend right here. Haven't watched this. I was just, reading comments on various Criterion halls and things like that, and this one popped up, and I don't know, just kind of seemed interesting to me, so picked it up, but have not watched it yet. So now that we're done with the 700s, moving into the 800s, and we have the player. I love the player. I haven't watched this piece of physical media yet, but I really do like the player. The player is awesome. I really like meta movies about filmmaking. I think those are great, so that's why I picked this one up. Was just a fan of the movie, so I figured I should own it on Criterion. Not that big of a fan of the cover, though. I think maybe they could have done something a little bit more interesting. It does play to what the movie is about, but I don't know. I think I just wish maybe the art was a little different. And again, that was 812. 800s. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Now, this was written by local hero Roger Ebert, so that's why I wanted that. Plus, I just like the cover art a lot. All of these illustrations of these people just look really cool. So that was the reason to purchase this. Roger Ebert wrote it. Great art. Staying in the 800s, I have One-Eyed Jacks. That's Marlon Brando right there. The cover art is what drew me to this, and the fact that Marlon Brando's in it. But yeah, the art, the text, the font, all of that I thought was really cool. Moving on to 849, His Girl Friday. This has sort of, it's about the press, the newspaper, news industry, all of that. So this kind of has a newspaper look to it in a way, in the way it's printed. So, I think that's kind of cool. It sort of parodies the press and gives some unexpected, if you go back and watch this now, when you think of the past, you have like an idea about the past, you have stereotypes about the past. If you watch this, you'll be like, oh, I didn't know stuff like that happened back then. You kind of have this idea, and then when you watch this, it sort of changes your idea about certain things. But anyway, His Girl Friday. Moving into the 900s, we got 919, and that is Dead Man. I wanted to watch this for so long. Honestly, now that I have this, I can't believe I haven't watched it yet, but I remember seeing this on, I feel like VHS back in the day, and just being interested in it, but I don't know why I never picked it up. So this is one that I feel like I need to get to fast because I've been itching to watch it for a long time. But I share a TV with 3 other people, so it's hard to get to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it. And I have a lot of movies that I need to get to. So, it takes time. This is probably one of my most recent purchases, and it's $9.95. Blu-ray for polyester. I wanted to pick this one up because of the odorama card as you're watching the movie. There's a scratch and sniff card that you smell as you're watching the movie, and the smell corresponds to what you are seeing on screen. This is a John Waters movie that I've never seen, but it just seems like a fun activity to do, one evening. So I think my wife and I are going to watch this one pretty soon just so we can partake in the odorama. Alright, so that was $9.95. That moves us to 1000, and that is the Showa era Godzilla films. I still have not unwrapped this yet, but I love the art here. I love how this is like a statement piece. It's like a decorative piece that you put in your house, and I don't know. This one was also purchased on sale. 50% off of this was a really cool deal, just because it just seems like a work of art. I really like having this in my house. I mean, it's been covered up lately by Stay Puft. That's where I usually keep them. Had to bust them out for this, and it's just really cool to have all of these Godzilla films in one place and in such cool packaging. Alright, so that gets us into the thousands now. So we have 1020, which is Leave Her to Heaven. I've heard great things about this. Cannot wait to watch this. The cover art really popped out, and I've seen a lot of people show this one in their haul videos, and I figured I'd pick it up because it was a really good price for the Blu-ray. I just have to, you know, take the sticker off. 1027. This comes from Brian Goes Blue and Coco 2. They sent this out to me because they had picked up the 4K, so they sent me the Blu-ray. Really appreciate that, Brian, for reaching out to me, asking if I would take this off your hands. Very glad to do that. The Great Escape, because I only had it on DVD, and this cover art I adore so much. So that's why I wanted to pick that one up. So The Great Escape, didn't pick it up. That's why I wanted to obtain it. When he was like, do you want it? I was like, yeah, definitely. I'd definitely take that. All right, 1052 brings us to Claudine. This one I had not seen, hadn't even heard of until it was announced, but that cover art that we're looking at right there just really stood out to me, and I was like, okay, this is one that I got to pick up, you know, purely for, you know, as a work of art. Even if the film isn't good, I don't care, because I like the imagery right there. Because sometimes I buy these just as a work of art. That's kind of how I look at it. Moving on to, excuse me, 1054. We have Parasite. Now this sort of packaging really appeals to me. I like it. It sticks out. We have the areas that are cut off, those holes that are cut out, revealing an image behind. Just that poster that we know so well. This is a Best Picture winner here. And I just think it's really cool when they do pick up Best Picture winners and add them to the Criterion Collection. I'm a big Oscars fan, so I just feel like I gotta, if it's a Best Picture winner and it's Criterion, if there's overlap there, I should pick it up. There are others that I need to pick up, I believe, and this is just one that I was really happy to add to the collection. Speaking of packaging, number, if I can see, 1105 is Menace to Society. This is a 4K here, and that sort of packaging where it has the cutout to reveal an image behind it. That's what this is as well, and that's what really stood out to me. Somehow this movie got past me back in the 90s. Kind of surprised I hadn't seen it. Still haven't seen it yet. When I do watch this piece of physical media, it will be the first time I watch this, and I'm really excited to do so. I saw a lot of people pick this one up and were excited about it, and it's one that I'm glad to have in the collection because of all the praise for it. And it comes from a period of time when movies were coming out when I felt like I was just kind of watching everything, and somehow I missed that one. 1126, Double Indemnity. This cover art's pretty cool here. Man in the shadows right there. I like that. Just sort of adds to that whole noir feel to it. And again, that was 1126. 1127. Look at that, back to back. When does that happen? Don't have many of those. Mississippi Masala. Really like the cover art here. Love these two lead actors. And yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really excited to watch this one again. That art looks really great. The preview, which I've watched, makes it look like a really good movie. And it's one that I had never heard of until it was announced. And when it was announced, I was like, wait a second, I feel like I've never heard of this one. Let me look into that. Speaking of Denzel, we got 1135. Look at that. We got more Denzel here. Devil in a Blue Dress. Really like the cover here. See that car right there? That car. Hidden, but very cool to look at. Right here. You have all this blue back here, and then you have Denzel just showing up in color, and the sticker here covers up some of the beautiful brushwork on his forehead. The cover art really stood out to me on this one. Really like the trailer for it, and just kind of has those noir vibes that are interesting in movies, and it's, you know, more contemporary film, so thought I'd pick it up for that reason. And I got this second hand, and it's never been opened. This was a sealed movie for a Criterion film for 20 bucks, so save some money there. This was the first movie that I picked up during the Criterion sale, and that is Spine number 1173, and that is Hollywood Shuffle. And Robert Townsend, this is his film. That's him right there. And I really like him from Meteor Man. That's a movie that I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. And when this was announced, it was the first time I had heard of it. And I was like, wait a second, Meteor Man? Oh man, I gotta look into that. I gotta pick that one up. So this was the first purchase that I did during last month's Barnes & Noble Criterion sale. I still haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited too. And just reading about his story, like on, I think I was just looking through his Wikipedia, maybe some articles and things like that. I just like how he's, you know, navigated Hollywood and, you know, tried to make it and everything. Really like Robert Townsend. That's sort of what this movie's about. It's all about that. Making it in Hollywood. So I think this was the actual first 4K that I picked up for Criterion, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I don't know. I can't remember how many I bought and which ones I bought together, but as far as I remember, this was the first 4K that I picked up for Criterion, and that is Thelma and Louise. And this was a movie that I knew, it seemed like everything about, knew everybody that was in it. Actually, Harvey Keitel, I was kind of surprised because I don't think I knew that he was in it, but you know, this movie is so ubiquitous, so woven and grained into our culture that you just know so much about it, even though you hadn't seen it. So going in, I was like, I don't think I've seen this. And then when I watched it, I was like, okay, I for sure haven't seen this. I just, you know a lot about it. But you kind of feel like you know you have seen it, right? Just because it's so popular. And it was a fun watch. Watched this one with my wife almost directly after we bought it. And we both really liked it a lot. Okay, and here we have, which brings us to the end of today, and that is spine number 1185. Wait, did I mention the Thelma and Louise spine was 1180? Thelma and Louise was 1180. So the next one is 1185. It's another 4K. It's a Scorsese film. It's After Hours. My buddy Vin over at Hard Copy Blues recommended this one. Still haven't watched it yet. It's a comedy. It's Scorsese. It's unlike a lot of his other films, and all of that really stood out to me. So that was one of the main reasons for me to pick this up. Plus the cover art is great. There was just so many things intersecting that made me say, you know what, this is one that I really need to pick up. So I did, and I'm excited to have it in the collection and eventually watch it. So yeah, that was my, I think anyway, everybody knows from my random ranking series that I have, it's sort of necessary that my collection behind me is out of order. So I'm pretty sure I picked up every Criterion that I own. It's possible that I missed some. I don't know. I feel like that's a, you know, it's a pretty small collection that I have, but when it comes to boutiques, this is sort of the main one that I'm into, and it was the cover arts that drew me to Criterion. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have at the moment. But I'm excited to continue to grow the collection. Thank you so much for watching all of this. Would you like these movies? Do some of them I need to get on right away and watch? Because a lot of these I haven't watched yet. They've been, you know, sitting in my collection, unwatched. And any of these that you don't like, any of these that you were hoping to pick up and haven't yet, just, you know, pop into the comments section and let's talk Criterion and movies. I'd love to do that. So again, thank you so much for watching, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.